the seance really, really wanting something to happen.
Walter Bailey and his girlfriend kill you. You try saying that one more time. Again?
More to it or not, was there anything you felt that you think you could translate into relatable and real proof of Elizabeth Short's murderer?
Well, I was having a biological response to something. The way I would explain it was I literally had a succession of like separate like feelings, like one after the other. Like it started with that, the minute the medium started, I got that really heavy, like painful sensation on the right of my head. And then, yeah, like, and then I just had this kind of like image of this girl with this guy and
True.
for sure, but you don't just get that type of pain. Especially like the toothache that I had was just nothing wrong with my teeth. My teeth are fine.
There was a lot of power suggestion in that room.
Is that what she could have picked up? Is that a possibility?
I mean, the power of people's will is palpable and real, whatever you want to call it.
No, I seem to be sensitive to in maybe environments or like emotions maybe of groups of people or something like that. I can't explain it.
I think it's very easy for that to be translated physically, but I don't think it's ghosts.
Okay, so I was probably the biggest skeptic in the group.
I only disagree because you told me a personal story about a banshee and seeing a statue rotate, and I can't explain that.
And I also say to people that I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe in any of that. As to why that happened, I don't know. I'm telling you a story. I don't know why it happened. Do I believe it?
Okay.
Even if I saw it in front of me, I probably wouldn't believe it. The only thing I heard about this, like going in there, was guys were talking about suspects and all this, and you gave me that to read, and I didn't get to read any of it because.
Do you want the computer?
I talk a lot.
Flynn is a super non-believer, but he's not a doctor, and Fiona is a doctor, but she's had so many paranormal experiences in her life that I guess she feels like there's something worth asking. There's a question worth asking. There's an answer somewhere out there, possibly worth finding. And I think it was really meeting Fiona and hearing her scientific perspective, yet her openness to think that there could be something to these paranormal phenomena. That really is kind of the heart and soul of the show.
I'm just confused as to how a rational scientist person can emotionally give into a series of symptoms instead of being able to rationally describe something, right? I think
it doesn't have to. If you're doing art murder, but your house happens to be a Mayan sacrificial or an homage to a sacrificial temple, it's not necessarily Mayan.
Do you think maybe they thought she was a virgin? Like if it was some kind of sacrifice because of her, like...
Ooh, that's a good question.
I knew nothing about it, and then I had all these specific things happen, like, like the incident with my head, and then I had like the incident with my thigh, like I had a very cold, painful sensation on my thigh, and then I had an incident like with my having like toothaches, and yeah, I don't know, I'm just bewildered.
Okay, Nate, can you call this telephone? Because we're going to try to communicate to Betty through the telephones.
I really want to try two phones on speakerphone next to each other in a room for some non-ghost related conversation. Because feedback is creepy. So what's real important to note about this test is that the newer the phone is, the less this effect works. An older phone without voice canceling microphone, it'll sit here and do this all day.
But it sounds really spooky, doesn't it?
And you can tell noise canceling works because when I get loud,
You want to ask the question?
it stops.
You want to ask the question? How do you explain that?
That doesn't matter.
Did you know the person that killed you? What was that?
Here. What did you hear?
Call. No. Something different than what I said.
Somebody said something.
Yeah, I
She's
heard.
coming through.
like that's the microphone. But you could hear a voice.
We only want Betty here to tell her story. Did you hear that somebody say that she's afraid?
I feel like someone is really upset.
The feedback only contains all the original data, but turned up.
She's protecting him. She feels it's her fault.
Doesn't work like
So
that.
are you saying your retained words from previous conversations?
That's important.
That's that thing that sounded like we thought was the demon or whatever.
We weren't able to
Ordell.
create that earlier, so that's good.
I didn't believe that sound was the demon at all.
Because we're not
You
arranged in a
did that
sacred.
night. We have that on tape. Everyone did.
I guess I assumed that was just interference, but I'm talking about the fact that we heard those words. You didn't hear those?
I guess Fiona's feelings, like however she felt about it, I think that was real to her, and I think that's what spread around the room more than a supernatural experience.
But listen to me. I'm just wondering. I mean, the fact that we were talking to a woman.
Okay, come on, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Talk loud. I want to do an experiment. Can you put that phone maybe somewhere different than the table? Maybe a little, maybe over by, right there, yeah.
Right here?
I'm being
saying
serious.
that's the
That's a
mechanism
sexist
by which
No,
the power of suggestion occurs.
So for some reason, I woke up the next morning with like a huge bruise on my knee, and it's like really sore, and I can't explain it. And I don't know. Do you remember? So last year, I actually had a surgical procedure done, and I can't explain this. So it was just a gallbladder procedure on the left hand side, and I actually ended up in the ER one night, with really, really bad pain. And the last 2 days, for some reason, that pain has been back, and I haven't had it in a year, and I don't know why. Just the last 2 days, I've just been feeling ill, and it's not even that I'm thinking about the incident. It's just I've had this kind of physical illness, I guess, since the incident. So I don't know.
Would you like?
I don't know. To be honest,
I'm a feedback expert.
I'm 50-50 still. But I'm wondering.
All right, there's no ghost there. I've seen a lot of places where I would say I think there are ghosts, but not in that room. No, I saw nothing in that room that made any sense to me when it comes to paranormal